The Oyo Empire was a preeminent Yoruba empire situated in West Africa, spanning present-day southern Benin and western Nigeria, including the southwest zone and the western half of the north-central zone. Through the ingenuity and resilience of the Yoruba people, the empire flourished, becoming the largest Yoruba-speaking state in the region. Strategic trade networks, innovative administrative systems, and the effective deployment of cavalry enabled the Oyo Empire to ascend to greatness. From the mid-17th to the late 18th century, the Oyo Empire emerged as one of Western Africa's most influential states, exerting significant control over neighboring kingdoms in Yorubaland and beyond. Its dominion extended westward, notably influencing the Fon Kingdom of Dahomey in the modern Republic of Benin. At its zenith, the Oyo Empire was a beacon of political sophistication, economic prosperity, and cultural richness, leaving an enduring legacy in the annals of African history. The birth of Oyo was nothing but legendary. In the ancient Yoruba kingdom of Ile-Ife, a legendary prince named Oramian was destined to forge a new empire. As the last prince of Ife, Oramian was driven by a sense of justice and loyalty to his family. His father, Oduduwa, the revered first Oni of Ife, had been dishonored by their northern neighbors. Determined to avenge his father's honor, Oramian formed an alliance with his brother to launch a retaliatory raid against the offenders. However, sibling rivalry soon fractured their unity, and the army split apart. Left with a diminished force, Oramian wandered along the southern shore of the Niger River until he reached Busa. There, he met a wise local chief who presented him with a majestic snake adorned with a magical charm. The chief instructed Oramian to follow the serpent, which would lead him to his future kingdom. For 7 days, Oramian trailed the snake until it vanished into the earth at a site called Ajoka. Inspired by the serpent's guidance, Oramian founded the city of Oyo and proclaimed himself the first Oba, king, with the title Alefin of Oyo, owner of the palace. Leaving his treasures behind in Ife, Oramian committed to building a new legacy. As Oyole began to rise, it faced its first major challenge: war with the Bariba of Bogo. Oramian's elder brother, Orangan Ajigonla of Ila, rallied to his aid, and together they triumphed over their foes. In the aftermath of victory, Oramian's personal life flourished. He welcomed 2 sons, Ajuwan Ajoka and Erobambi, born to Princess Torosai of the Topa, Nupe. Interestingly, some historians believe that Erobambi was named Shango by his mother's grandfather, while others believed that he adopted it. However, the royal family would forever be devoted to the spirits of thunder, Jekuto, and war, Ogun. Around 1300, the legendary Oramian founded the Oyo Empire, marking the beginning of a glorious era. As the first Oba, king of Oyo, Oramian's legacy would shape the empire's destiny. Oramian's son, Oba Ajoka, succeeded him but faced opposition due to his lack of military prowess and leniency towards sub-chiefs. Ajoka's leadership was temporarily conferred upon his brother, Shango, who would later become revered as the deity of thunder and lightning. Following Sango's demise, Ajoka reclaimed the throne, returning as a more formidable and warlike leader. His transformation marked a significant turning point in Oyo's history. Ajoka's successor, Kori, built upon his achievements, conquering the remaining territories that would form metropolitan Oyo. This expansion solidified Oyo's position as a rising power in the region. At the epicenter of metropolitan Oyo lay its capital, Oyole, also known as Oyo Kotonga, Old Oyo. 2 iconic structures dominated the city's landscape. The Ofin, or Palace of the Oba, symbolizing the king's authority, and the Ojoba, the king's market, hub of commerce and trade. A massive earthen wall encircled the capital, boasting 17 gates and reinforcing Oyo's defenses. The palace and market's prominence underscored the monarch's significance in Oyo's societal hierarchy. By the 14th century's end, Oyo had emerged as a formidable inland power, having expanded its territories at the expense of its neighbors for over a century. However, during the reign of Onegboji, Oyo suffered a series of devastating military defeats at the hands of the Nupe, led by the fearless Tud. In 1535, the Nupe seized control of Oyo, forcing its ruling dynasty to flee and seek refuge in the kingdom of Bogu. The Nupe occupation brought destruction upon the capital, reducing Oyo to a shadow of its former self. This marked the beginning of an 80-year downtime, during which the Yoruba of Oyo languished in exile. In the early 17th century, the Yoruba of Oyo re-established their kingdom, determined to rebuild and expand. They crafted a more centralized and expansive government, establishing dominance over a vast territory. Throughout the 17th century, Oyo experienced unprecedented growth, transforming into a major empire. Although it never encompassed all Yoruba people, Oyo became the most populous kingdom in Yoruba history, solidifying its position as a regional powerhouse. The Yoruba people's determination to rebuild Oyo led to significant reforms. Embracing lessons from their Nupe, Topa adversaries, they modernized their military with armor and cavalry. Oba of Enran, the visionary Alefin of Oyo, spearheaded the reconquest, reclaiming Oyo's original territory from the Nupe. A new capital, Oyo Igboho, emerged, while the original became known as Old Oyo. Successive rulers expanded Oyo's dominion. In his reign, Oba Egogojo conquered nearly all of Yoruba land. After him, Oba Orompoto launched decisive campaigns against the Nupe, ensuring Oyo's security. In his own time, Oba Ajeboyd introduced the Bere Festival, celebrating peace and prosperity. Under Abipa's rule, the Yoruba repopulated and rebuilt Oyo-Ile, revitalizing the original capital. Ambitious, Oyo attempted to conquer the Benin Kingdom, 1578 to 1608, but faced insurmountable terrain challenges. The mountains in Ekiti made it impossible for Oyo's cavalry units to launch attacks. Despite this setback, several Ekiti kingdoms fell under Oyo's control. Oton Ekiti served as a strategic demilitarized town between Oyo and Benin Kingdom. Also, non-Yoruba areas, southeast of metropolitan Oyo, maintained autonomy, acting as a demilitarized zone between Oyo and Benin Kingdom. By the 16th century's end, Oyo's influence stretched beyond Yoruba land, reaching the Ewe and Eja, states of modern Benin Republic, which paid tribute to Oyo. As the Oyo Empire regained its strength, it began to expand southward, raiding neighboring territories as early as 1682. By the end of its military campaigns, Oyo's borders would stretch to the coast, approximately 100 kilometers southwest of its capital. Oyo faced minimal resistance until the early 18th century, when it encountered the Kingdom of Dahomey. In 1728, Oyo launched a major invasion of Dahomey, leveraging its powerful cavalry. However, Dahomey warriors employed firearms, which frightened Oyo's horses and hindered their charges. The Dahomey army also constructed fortifications, rendering cavalry ineffective. The battle raged on for 4 days, but Oyo's reinforcements ultimately secured victory. Dahomey was forced to pay tribute to Oyo. Over the next 2 decades, Oyo launched 11 invasions, finally subjugating the kingdom in 1748. Oyo's cavalry enabled it to campaign across vast distances, conquering territories and fortifications. However, logistical challenges limited its ability to sustain long-term sieges. Oyo ran a joint military campaigns with its states. Notable ones are the joint Ekiom Dahomey-Oyo victory against Ashanti invaders, 1764, the successful campaign into Mohi territory north of Dahomey, late 18th century, and the naval blockade of Badogry with an Oyo Dahomey-Lagos force, 1784. It is worthy of note that Oyo's military never used guns in its conquests. They adopted guns later in the 19th century. As the Oyo Empire expanded, it underwent significant reorganization to effectively manage its vast territories within and beyond Yorubaland. The empire was divided into 4 distinct zones, each defined by its relationship to the center. The first zone was the Metropolitan Oyo. This was the heart of the empire, corresponding to the Pre-Nupe invasion of Oyo. The inhabitants spoke Oyo dialect. This region was divided into 6 provinces, with 3 on either side of the Ogun River. Each province was governed by a governor appointed directly by the Alefin of Oyo. The second zone was the southern Yorubaland, comprising towns closest to Oyo-Ile, recognized as brother states. These tributary states had their own rulers, Obas, confirmed by the Alefe. Inhabitants spoke various Yoruba dialects. The third zone was the Egbedo corridor, southwest of Yorubaland, inhabited by the Egba and Egbedo. This region ensured Oyo's coastal trade. Tributaries self-governed, but were supervised by Ajele Oyo appointed agents and the Olu of Elaro. The fourth zone was the Ajoland. This was the most distant and stubborn zone, extending into modern Togo. Ajoland enjoyed autonomy, provided taxes were paid, Oyo's orders were followed, and market access granted to Oyo merchants. Tribute often included slaves. This made kingdoms raid one another in order to meet Oyo's demands. Failure to do so would be disastrous for the community. An example was the massacre of inhabitants of Alada in 1698. The Oyo Empire developed a complex and refined political system to effectively govern its vast territories. Although the exact origins of this structure are unclear, it's evident that the empire's reemergence from exile in the early 17th century marked a significant transformation. The Alefin of Oyo, meaning owner of the palace in Yoruba, held the highest position in the empire as the Oba, king. As supreme overlord, the Alefin's responsibilities included protecting tributary states from external threats, resolving internal conflicts between subrulers, mediating disputes between subrulers and their subjects, and bestowing honors and gifts upon subordinates. In return, subrulers paid homage to the Ola Afin through annual ceremonies, notably the Bere festival. This celebration acknowledged the Alefin's successful rule and ensured peace in Yorubaland for 3 years. Although the Alefin's position was sacred, he could be compelled to abdicate if no longer wanted. This was achieved through a symbolic rejection. Basharan, Prime Minister, would present an empty calabash or parrot's eggs, signifying rejection by the people, world, and gods. The Alefin was expected to commit ritual suicide, upholding tradition. During the 16th to 18th centuries, the Basharan held a pivotal position in Oyo's governance, akin to a prime minister and chancellor. Most times controlled by Iberiba families, this office played a vital role in advising the Alefin king, representing non-royal interests, and leading military campaigns. As head of the Oyumesi Council's 7 highest-ranking non-royal lords, the Basharan's influence was significant, particularly in selecting new kings and shaping state policies. Notably, several Basharans from 1570 to 1750 had Iberiba or non-Yoruba origins, including Besura Magoji, Wuruda, Bari, Yamba, Jambu, and Go. The Basharans' responsibilities were deeply intertwined with warfare, solidifying their position as second only to the Alefin. The Oyo Empire's succession process was a unique blend of hereditary and elective elements. The Oyumesi, a powerful council, selected the Alefin, ensuring the throne was not solely determined by birthright. To be qualified, the Alefin must be a descendant of Oramian, son of Odujuwa, and a member in the Ona Isikan ward, one of 3 royal wards. Initially, the Alefin's eldest son, Arimo, succeeded him. However, this led to instances of crown princes hastening their father's deaths. To prevent this, the Arimo was expected to commit ritual suicide upon his father's passing. Despite this, the Arimo held significant power. He represented the Alefin outside the palace, interacting with the public, while the Alefin remained in the palace. To prevent the Alefin's office from becoming too powerful, these councils often selected a weaker successor after a strong ruler. The Alefin of Oyo appointed esteemed officials, known as Ilari or half-heads, who held significant roles in governance and spirituality. Typically eunuchs, the Ilari underwent a distinctive initiation ritual of half-shaved heads and application of magical substances. The hundreds of Ilari were evenly divided between males and females, with junior members performing menial tasks while senior members acting as guards and messengers to the spirit world via sacrifice. Their titles reflected their loyalty to the king, like Oba Lolo, the king is supreme, and Maderikan, do not oppose him. Symbolizing their status, Ilari carried red fans and green fans. Throughout Oyo's subcourts and vassal states, Ilari served as spies and tax collectors. They were strategically placed in the Homi and the Egbedo corridor. Their duties included collecting taxes, gathering intelligence on the Homi's military successes, ensuring the Alefin's share of spoils. The Alefin of Oyo, the supreme ruler, was not absolute in his authority. 2 influential councils, the Oyumesi and the Ogboni, ensured checks and balances on his power. The Oyumesi represented the political interest, while the Ogboni, Yoruba art cult, advocated for the people, backed by religious authority. These councils counterbalanced the Alefin's power. Their influence was determined by the Alefin's personal character and his political acumen. The Oyumesi was a powerful council in the Oyo Empire, comprising 7 principal councillors who served as the electoral council and held legislative powers. 1. Basharan, acting as Prime Minister. 2. Agbakin, High Priest of Oramian. 3. Samo, Sacrificial Minister. 4. Alapini, High Priest of Egongon. 5. Laguna, Roving Ambassador. 6. Ekiniku, Chief of Defense Staff. 7. Ashipa, Mayor of the capital. These councillors represented the voice of the nation and protected the empire's interests. The Alefin, the emperor, was required to consult them on important matters. Each councillor had daily duties and a deputy to represent them if needed. The Oyo Messi's primary role was to check the Alefins' power, preventing autocracy. In extreme cases, they could compel the Alefin to commit suicide, as seen in the 17th and 18th centuries. The Basharan, the council head, consulted the Ifa oracle before royal succession, ensuring new Alefins were appointed by the gods. The Basharan also led religious festivals and commanded the army, holding significant independent authority. The Oran festival was crucial in determining the council's favor with the Alefin. If disapproved, the Basharan would present the Alefin with an empty calabash or parrot's eggs, signaling the Alefin's ritual suicide. This ceremony ensured the government's renewal. The Ogboni society played a crucial role in the Oyo Empire, serving as a powerful check on the Oyo Messi's political influence. As a secret society composed of wise and respected aristocratic freemen, the Ogboni represented the voice of the people, backed by the authority of religion. This balance ensured that no single entity held absolute power, preventing the Alefin and the Oyo Messi from becoming autocratic. The Ogboni's influence extended far and wide, with councils present in nearly all subcourts within Yorubaland. Their responsibilities included worshipping the earth and judging cases involving bloodshed. The leader of the Ogboni, the Oyowo, held significant power with direct access to the Alefin on any matter. By maintaining this delicate balance, the Oyo Empire ensured stability and prosperity, with the Ogboni playing a vital role in its governance. Thanks for watching. We will continue the story in the second part. Please like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more contents like this.